All right, so let's get right into it. What on earth happens when you take one of Australia's toughest, most beloved sports, rugby league, and you just drop it right into the neon-soaked heart of Las Vegas? It's a huge gamble, right? Well, today, we're going to break down exactly how this wild American adventure is playing out.
So here's the plan. First, we'll look at the sheer spectacle of it all. Then, we'll meet the fans who absolutely stole the show. After that, we're going to get a little peek behind the scenes on game day, check if the numbers actually back up the hype, and finally, we'll uncover the incredibly ambitious global strategy behind this whole thing.
Okay, so picture this. For the third year running, Australia's National Rugby League decided to swap the familiar sounds of a packed Sydney stadium for the organized chaos of the Las Vegas Strip to kick off their season. It's such a bold move, a real clash of cultures, and we're gonna unpack it.
And this, right here, this really just says it all, doesn't it? I mean, you've got a sport that was born in the suburbs of Australia, now being played right in the shadow of Caesar's Palace. And you know, this isn't just some flashy gimmick. This crazy contrast is actually the core of a very, very deliberate global strategy.
But hey, a sporting event is nothing without its fans, right? And in Vegas, one group in particular made sure everybody knew they were there. Let's talk about how these supporters basically turned the Mojave Desert into their own backyard.
This quote just perfectly nails the feeling on the ground. Yeah, there were 4 teams playing, but honestly, it felt like it was the supporters of the Canterbury Bulldogs, this absolute sea of blue and white, and then everybody else. They didn't just show up, they completely dominated the atmosphere.
And you could see their impact literally everywhere. The famous blue and white army was definitely the biggest group, but you saw jerseys from every single team up and down the strip. You could even hear those unmistakable English accents of traveling fans filling up the Mandalay Bay. And it all built up to this one epic moment, this massive, unified walk to the stadium. It's a scene you'd expect in Sydney for sure, but seeing it in Las Vegas, absolutely unreal.
So the fans were obviously ready to go, but what about the folks actually running the show? Let's shift gears now and take a look at those crucial hours before kickoff to see how the coaches and the league officials got ready for the big day.
Game day in Vegas starts early, and I mean really early. This just shows you the insane focus that was going on behind the scenes. At 5 in the morning, you've got Coach Brad Arthur already up deep in strategy. An hour and a half later, Coach Shane Flanagan is out for a walk, just soaking in the Vegas vibe. Even the top dog of the league is out for a run. This was not a vacation for these guys. It was all business. And, you know, that early morning walk clearly made an impression on Coach Flanagan. From his point of view, the whole experiment was already a success. The NRL wasn't some little niche event tucked away in a corner. It had actually managed to cut through all the noise and get the attention of one of the busiest cities on the planet.
And then you have these little things that just scream Vegas. To get the teams to the stadium, it took a 20-minute police escort. Now, for anyone who's ever been stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic on Victoria Road in Sydney during rush hour, well, this is the kind of VIP treatment you can only dream about.
All right, so you've got the passionate fans, you've got dedicated organizers, the whole spectacle is amazing. But for a gamble this big to be a real success, it all boils down to one thing, the numbers. So let's find out if the data actually backs up all the hype.
And this really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? You can create the best atmosphere in the world, have the perfect setup, but if the stadium's half empty, the whole thing is a failure. So, after all that build-up, did people actually turn up?
The answer is a huge, resounding yes. Over 45,000 people. Let that sink in. 45,719 people packed into that stadium. That is a record-breaking crowd for the sport in Las Vegas. This wasn't just a good turnout, this was a massive statement that this whole gamble is paying off.
And get this, it's not just a one-off, the event is actually growing year on year. Now, an increase of 510 people might not sound like a huge number, but in a market as crazy competitive as Las Vegas, believe me, any growth is a major win. It proves the interest isn't just a fluke, it's building real, sustainable momentum.
So with record crowds and that growing interest, what does this all mean for the big picture? Because this is way more than just a single event. It's the beginning of a whole new playbook for the entire sport.
This quote from the head of the league himself, it says it all. Las Vegas isn't just some temporary experiment. No, it's the strategic anchor. It's their permanent base of operations for a much, much bigger vision, taking rugby league to the entire world.
So this brings us to the core of their business plan, what they're calling the anchor strategy. And it's a really fascinating way to think about it. Instead of trying to be everywhere at once, the plan is to drop a heavy, permanent anchor in one key international market, Las Vegas. Make it a guaranteed success year in, year out, and then use that stable, profitable base to launch everywhere else. So here's the game plan, broken down. Step 1. Lock in that 5-year Vegas deal and make it permanent. Step 2. Use that solid base as a launchpad to grow the game across the rest of the U.S. And then, Step 3, the Holy Grail. Kick off future seasons with games happening all around the globe. And the craziest part? They think they might be able to launch this global model as soon as next year.
So the big takeaway here is that the NRL's American gamble, well, it really looks like it's a winning bet. It's built on passionate fans, meticulous planning, and a super clear, ambitious strategy. And it leaves us all with a pretty fascinating question. Is what we're watching unfold in Las Vegas the new blueprint for how other national sports can go from being beloved at home to becoming true global powerhouses?